Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Experience the Purifying Power of Amethyst in Taoist Stone Medicine. Learn how to create grids with stones and crystals to clear energy and restore balance. My name is Stephen Dynam, the founder and CEO of the Shift Network, and I really love learning right alongside with you. I love getting exposed to new teachers, new teachings that really open new paradigms of healing and possibility for us. And for a long time, we've known there's a lot of interest in crystals and stones, but there was never anything that felt like just the right shift fit until the teacher that we are going to get to explore with today. Her name is Sarah Thomas. She's a licensed acupuncturist. She's the founder of the Upper Clarity School of Stone Medicine. And there's really a depth perspective on how to work with stones and crystals in a way that's truly evolutionary that we're very excited about. And I want to let you know that we're going to be doing a full 19-module course with 7 live Q&As that combines the introductory 7-module course with the more advanced 12 modules course. So with that said, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us here again at Shift.
Thanks, Stephen. It's good to be here.
Great. Well, let's begin our journey today with a little bit about your journey into stone medicine. And I think then we'll start focusing a little bit more on amethyst and particularly why that's such a key element today.
Yeah, well, I had a pure love for crystals and just a curiosity and fascination that really developed when I started learning more about who I was when I was about 18, 19, 20 years old. I think I revered kind of the sacredness of crystals and the pristineness and the purity. And then I went to acupuncture school and I learned that throughout ancient history and these really wonderful ancient traditions of healing, stones and crystals were used in ways that we don't even talk about today. We don't have much access to today. Stones and crystals were used as herbs. It's just like herbal medicine in a way, and they were used as acupuncture needles.
Hmm.
And yeah, and if you think about, I was just learning from a Taoist priestess who's been studying with her own family for 5 generations, and they didn't have stainless steel acupuncture needles from an acupuncture needle factory. So they were using stones and crystals. And so we use stones as herbs, we use them as needles and activators. And if you think about it too, they're so fundamental. If you think about building stone circles and just marking the earth and working with the earth, they're as fundamental as making, like a cup of tea for a sick child. So I'm here because I feel like resurrecting that ancient wisdom about stones it's my passion and it's cool and it's needed.
Hmm. Well, let's just go a little bit further into Taoism and why that's such an important root system for understanding the sort of more ancient approach to working with stones and crystals. When we kind of often think of that as a little bit more of a new age thing, it's really kind of, as you said last time, an old age phenomenon that we're sort of resurrecting now.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant consciousnesses in Taoism. If you read the Tao Te Ching, if you look at Lao Tzu, it is profound. And their whole premise was that nature is the teacher. And all we have to do is look at nature to learn everything about life, to learn everything about how to be, how to let go, how to build, how to grow, how to mature, how to die. It was all inside nature. And their brilliant observation and the power of their heart to just be in nature really awakened this understanding that everything in nature is medicine. They didn't look at, why would an aloe plant be medicine, but an amethyst crystal would not? They saw everything as medicine. Everything has a purpose. And that delights me and it delights like the people around me. It's, everything is medicine and also everything is alive. And that sacredness, puts our foot on the path of really awakening how to work with stones and the earth.
So you say that everything is alive. I'd love for you to build on that a little bit and talk about, I think we're used to trained in thinking of stones as inanimate and but there actually is a deeper way of relating to them. And I'd love for you to share some of your experience in that arena.
That is so cool because so I was in India once and for a month and I went through such incredible, beautiful, sacred processes of raising my level of consciousness. And just briefly, after this one long night in the temple, my state of consciousness was so high that I was experiencing that everything was alive. It wasn't just a concept. or an abstraction. I walked past this like crane, this machine, and I could feel, I knew that it was alive. Even that was a living vibration. So I think that, I remember looking at my plate of food, like, how could I eat this? It's all alive, it was alive to me. And so I think it depends on our state of consciousness. And when we go to these higher states and experience them, we realize that that's true, that everything's alive. It's not just a concept, it's not just an abstraction. And that is so important when we feel that things are alive. It just brings in this whole level of sacredness. I mean, when you're working with a stone and you're thinking, this is a life form, and it may not be one that is something I can easily understand or that is close to my way of living, but it's still alive. It changes everything about what we can do with these stones. It's amazing.
What do you find is the sort of unique intelligence of the rock and crystal kind of kingdom, if you will?
Well, one thing that I could say this over and over my whole life, and I feel like we're always still going to be getting our heads around this, but these are pure vessels. Stones and crystals are pure open vessels, especially quartz, which we're going to talk about today. So we have all of this energy, frequency, and vibration coming from our being and coming from our consciousness. And when we want to, transmit that or broadcast that in the form of like a blessing or a mantra or a prayer or just an intention, crystals are pure vessels. They absorb, store, and transmit energy, frequency, and vibration. And it's not just ones and zeros. It's so beyond that. So if you think of having something that can capture anything that you say, amplify it, direct it, record it, multiply it, stones become, I'm going to say, the premier magical tool. There's just endless what we can do with them. So that's one thing, that they are such record keepers.
Hmm. And how about in working with energy as well? So it seems like there's a particular capacity for directing and working with flows of energy.
Absolutely. That's the next piece. So they absorb, store, and transmit these intangible frequencies. But they also absorb, store, and transmit the tangible or the electromagnetic spectrum, which is why our whole house is wired with copper, and they can sense these extremely weak fields. So you would use copper, quartz, gold to make something that could, sense faraway stars, faraway planets. They're able to pick up energy, really subtle energy, and then they can conduct it and they can transduce it, they can change it, and then they can emit it, broadcast it, amplify it. So yeah, they're the ultimate conductors as well.
Mhm. That's all sort of in some ways directed from the human side. And I know from talking to you last time that you also see it's like more collaborative, right? That there's actually kind of advice flowing in both directions, if you will.
Totally. You just spoke for the pineal gland right there. It's like we can send information, we can receive it.
Great.
When the
Well,
pineal gland's full of crystals, as we know.
say more about that because I don't think everybody knows that.
Okay, it's the pineal gland is like a little bathtub in the center of your head, and floating in that bathtub, we have magnetite, we have calcite, we even have apatite crystals in there, and that's so crucial to why the pineal gland is able to, speak with the divine, channel the ancestors. It's those little crystals are able to pick up all of those intangible frequencies in the field of possibility.
So the very seat of our kind of spiritual cognition or spiritual capacities is really sort of is being facilitated by crystals. That's really fascinating.
Totally. Totally.
Well,
Crystals will always be at the edge, the intersection from one world to another. So that's why you find them in the pineal gland too. They're those edge walkers. So if we're in this reality and we want to speak with or experience another reality, you'll often find a stone or crystal is actually the interface.
hmm And so
Yeah.
that's part of why a lot of psychics and healers use them to communicate with spirits on the other side or guides, it sounds like.
Yep. Same reason why they build stone doorways in the desert to, in ancient traditions to walk through that doorway to experience another world, or they would build a stone circle to step into the middle of to be transported or experience other worlds in Scotland and Ireland. So it's the same reason why there's little metals on the end of the transducers that are helping people with Alzheimer's hear and speak language again. You'll always find the metals and crystals like right as those edge walkers, bridges between worlds.
So let's talk next about a little bit about the clearing and purification aspects of stones and crystals. Like why are they so good for that function within our human system?
It is because they can absorb, store, and transmit electromagnetic energy, but also these intangible energies. So if we have something as simple as like an argument in a room, that leaves a vibrational imprint, and we can't really name it and say, oh, it's a gamma ray or it's an X-ray. Like we don't really have on the electromagnetic spectrum. And we don't even always have language for it, right? Because there's so much in the field of all possibility. But everything leaves that vibrational imprint. And because stones are so good at absorbing, sensing all that, and then they can pull it through, pull it in, absorb it, they can transduce it. And even with the use of amethyst, they can actually bring it up to higher vibrations or higher planes and transmute it into kind of higher worlds, which is like letting it free.
Very cool. Well, you mentioned earlier that we're going to especially focus on quartz and amethyst, and maybe share a little bit about why this category of stones and crystals is so important for us to look at in the healing realm.
Yeah. So if we were bakers, quartz would be our flour. It's like our everything. It's our base. It's our foundation. The earth is made up of 75 to 85% silica. And it is the most clear mirror. It is the most neutral. So it's just sitting there like an empty data storage container saying, whatever it is that you wish or desire, I will receive that, hold that, amplify that. It is non-biased, it's non-judgmental, it's transparent. So we can put all kind of different energies in there without different frequencies from a more complicated stone changing those energies. So quartz is like just an open, it's like just open arms. So it's so it's so great in working with people because we are like, let's do a blessing, let's do a mantra, let's do an intention, let's do a healing intention. And quartz can take that in without any bias, any judgment, without changing it.
And amethyst?
So quartz is this ultimate record keeper, right? This ultimate non-biased record keeper. And amethyst is the purple quartz, as we know. I actually overlooked the power of this crystal for a long time because I was like, this is like the new age crystal that everybody talks about in the new age books. And for a while I failed to see that amethyst is honestly, it is the miracle crystal. If I wanted a miracle, if I'm like, I just need a miracle, amethyst is the crystal that I would bring to that. And if you just look at the color, being purple, it has the highest vibration of all colors in the visible light spectrum. That's why, our crown chakra is associated with the color purple. It's like the frequency keeps getting higher and higher and higher until we can't see it anymore because the frequency is so high. So amethyst is related to the crown chakra. It's related to us moving into higher planes and higher worlds. And it's related to us being able to take something in this plane and say, let's raise the frequency of it. And sometimes raise the frequency of it so much that it can gently transduce, gently transmute that energy back to the divine, we could
Hmm.
say, or back into higher worlds.
Well, it makes sense that that's why there's so much fascination with it. Can you share a little bit about how does that work? So if you're uplifting and transmuting vibration, is it just putting it in proximity to your body, or is there kind of more of a specific sequencing you work with?
Yeah, so I love to work with grids, and we'll talk about that, which is kind of using more than one stone for one intention. But you can actually just lay it on the body. You can just put it on the body in treatments. You can put it on the land in treatments. You can activate it by just asking it, talking to it, sharing with it your intention. You should see how simple my activations are, my prayers, my intentions. I truly just say, I'll get the group of stones, like the group of amethysts I'm going to use, and I truly just talk to them like they're little friends of mine about what my plan is and what we're going to do together, whether it's purification or protection or um, adding a specific healing ray. And that's what I do. I just imprint them with that, my own thought, my own heart, my own intention. And honestly, it's belief so much, belief that also creates that activation. And you can lay them on the body, in the garden, and in so many ways. And I think what's overlooked about amethyst too, Stephen, is just that its power to purify. Because people don't really think of amethyst as a purification crystal, but it is, especially if you want to say, let's raise this vibration up and let this energy find the divine again, or let this energy go home again. It's a transmutation that's like bringing something to a higher plane.
Hmm. It's really fascinating. And so you're saying that when you work with them in a grid or sort of, so that kind of create more of an interconnected whole when you have more than one that you're working with?
Yeah, the grids are incredible. When you have more than one stone working for one intention, crystals, they're the happiest they will ever be. They're all about that. They're all about that order, that patterning, all for one and one for all. That's kind of what crystal means. Christ all is like the consciousness of all for one and one for all, that the
Nice.
divine lives within all of us. And so if we have them in a grid, they're actually able to penetrate the dimensions more strongly. This has been proven that stones in a grid can actually penetrate through to different timelines, lifetimes, realities, penetrate through and grab different frequencies that we need for healing. So once you put things in a grid, it's like you exponentially grow the power of what you're doing and what that stone holds.
I know there's probably a wide array of grids. Is there like just maybe give an example of one of like and at the particular constellation and how it might be used?
Yeah, so a really simple way to do grids is think about putting one stone in the center and then putting 8 stones around that. Because that combination, it's 9 stones, but there's one in the center and there's 8 around that. That number 8 on the outside seems to be very universal and work really well with whatever your intention is. It's a great starting point just to send healing to someone or to purify a room. But today, I want to tell you actually about a different type of grid, which is also really simple, but it's the best way, I think, to use amethyst for purification.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So there is a shape um, that we often call the diamond shape. But a diamond is kind of three-dimensional if you think about it. So the diamond shape in its base shape in a two-dimensional shape is really called a rhombus. And just think of a diamond. Just think of, the letter V and the two ends of the letter V get put together. So you have this, this shape that just looks like a diamond. This is a rhombus. So this shape of this rhombus is for some reason really good at gently transmuting and purifying energy. So if you have any detrimental energy, any negative energy, any harmful energy, anything that you want to gently release back up to higher vibrations or back up to the divine, this shape really works good to transmute energy. And you can see it. One great example is something called the Mexican Eye of God. It's a tool that came out of Mexico where they'll put up this Mexican Eye of God. It's almost like a fabric. It's a weaving. And they'll do that to purify an area, like to purify land or garden or a home or keep evil spirits out. But I think that it's more sophisticated than that. It's purifying and transmuting energy in the space. And when you put amethyst into this diamond shaped grid or this rhombus shaped grid, you get this awesome transmutational kind of vortex in the center of that grid. And all you have to do is put amethyst at the 4 articulations. So you just can have a rhombus shape like this, and then you just put a piece of amethyst at these 4 articulations. And that is a great way to purify. You can do this on the body. You can do it in your garden. You can do it in your healing room if you have that to keep the energy transmuting. And then you can also create a grid where you would draw this on a piece of paper. You would draw this rhombus shape on a piece of paper, and you just make like a little tabletop crystal grid like this. And you would put amethyst at these articulations. And then what you can do is you can use this grid to actually be kind of a broadcaster to purify a whole room, to send purification energy into the room, which is like you're kind of grabbing the energy of purity from the field and you're letting things kind of come in. And what they'll do is they'll go into the center here, this center place. We want to leave this open because energy will transmute in this kind of scalar vortex in the center of this. And the amethyst is so powerful that I've had such incredible experiences clearing things that people were not able to clear in their life or places we're not able to clear using something this simple. And then another thing that you can do to this is you can just add more crystals to make this, in your own intuitive way to make this a more interesting, um, strong purification grid. So you can just add extra crystals to it. I think we have a slide for that of this with just more crystals added to it. Yes. And here you just want to leave the center empty again, but you're broadcasting purification to the whole space. And you can do this intuitively, like add the crystals that you want, but just make sure this amethyst rhombus or this amethyst diamond is the main grid, and energy will actually transmute through that center and it will broadcast this purification energy into your space. So you can just have this like on a tabletop, right? And it's a broadcast grid. But if you allow me to switch gears really quick, there's something else that you can do with this, which is you can actually shift gears from it being a broadcasting grid and you can make it a grid that will clear and recharge whatever is in the center of the grid. So you could put something in the center of the grid, like a piece of jewelry that you want to clear, right? That you want to purify. And you could put your necklace in there, or you could put your bracelet in there, or you could put a stone in there that you want to purify that maybe you worked with for healing, or whatever tools that you want to purify. You could put a glass of water in there and purify that. So I think we have a slide for that too, where yes, you're placing something in the center and now you're purifying that. So that's what you can do with this grid. You can leave the center open and make sure it's kind of a scalar vortex where purification energy is happening through the center. Or you can use this where you're actually using it to purify certain things that you would put in the center. And what I'm saying is that whatever you put in the center is what is going to be getting acted on. Okay. So that's that.
That's super cool. So, I mean, it sounds like it works well with just the desktop size. Is it worth doing it for the whole room? So you're the one lying in the center or sleep in the center or whatever.
Yes. And we do it like if when I do land healing work or work with people in their land, or we want to, make a purification place on the land, you can do it on the land. You can do it in a backyard. You can do it in your front yard. You can make it large scale. And when you do it in a front yard or a backyard, you just want to use a little bit bigger amethyst because when you go large scale, you want the crystals to get a little bit bigger if you can. And what I've done so many times in my work and practice is also just putting an amethyst diamond grid on the body. So in healing work, you can put this right over someone's heart if you want to purify the heart. It's like the violet flame, you
Hmm.
know? It's like this crystal is like pulling in and anchoring that intangible sacred energy of the violet flame, which is able to transmute because it's so high vibrational and close to the divine.
Hmm. That's amazing. Does the same
Yeah.
effect? So these are just the more just pure crystal. Is it also when they're kind of like in the half cutout sort of shaped ones, like floor standing ones? If you have them at the corners, it will also have a similar effect.
Definitely. And next time you get around one of those, put your hand in the center of that and feel that energy in there. It
Mhm.
is it is amazing to really put your hand in one of those and feel how different the energy
So
is
I
in
guess
there.
they're forming a lot of those. I mean, because there's probably 100 pairs of them or quartets of them that are creating that.
Yeah, go get a couple and then make your diamond grid.
Are there? I know you had said that there was also some misconceptions about amethyst that you wanted to address and dispel as well. So, is there anything in particular that people commonly think about amethyst that you want to correct?
I will share that. I think people sometimes make the same mistake that I did, where they're like, this is just one of those new age crystals. It's often fakely dyed or fakely heated. And they don't realize that this crystal is one of the most magical stones among all minerals, among all 5,500 minerals. It is the stone that is, if you want to work with directly with the mystery, directly with the divine, there's something about it that just pulls direct divine energy and can really get you a miracle. I've seen it do things that I cannot explain. So it's like trying to explain is like trying to explain the woo. But it is one of the most woo stones out there.
And when you say woo, it's like it sounds funny, but you also mean in the Taoist sense, right? You want to share a little about that?
Yeah, yeah. That honestly, the woo is just someone who walks between worlds. It's like I can close my eyes, go within, and experience another reality. And that is exactly what amethyst does. It's like the mascot stone for the woo.
The mascot stand for the woo. It does give a whole new framing for like when people talk about, oh, that's out there and that's woo woo. You're like, well, actually, it kind of
Exactly. I
is.
know it all comes full circle, and we turn out we actually are woo woo.
How do so in terms of working with clients, how much you so in addition to setting up the grid, are there certain protocols of like how to sort of optimize entering in, invocation, working, bringing things that you want to release forward?
Yeah, so if I was going to use 4 amethyst crystals, I actually talk to them all at once and I just get them in my hand. It can be a silent prayer. Authenticity is all they need. Talk to them like a friend. They are not looking for big spiritual plateaus or platitudes. And then once they have that instruction, I will place them on the body. And then what you can do is you can channel some kind of energy. If you do know Reiki or you channel some kind of energy or just keep your hands on the body and then just let those stones do the work. Some people actually work with the violet flame or will channel the violet flame, but if you're just there with them, those stones will channel and transmute energy in ways that can be life-changing. And then when you take the stones off the body just as an offering, you want to give them an offering if they've done something like that. So spray them with rose water or drizzle a little bit of wonderfulness on them because after they do that kind of work, it's so nice to honor them. And then it creates this bond between you and them. You become like a team. And the next time you go to work together, you're an even stronger team.
That's not something I ever would have considered doing, making an offering to the amethyst itself. That's really interesting. So it gets into that whole partnership dynamic where they're a living intelligence and working together with you. Anything else that you want to share about amethyst right now that we haven't covered yet?
The only other thing I would say is expect the unexpected. As soon as you think you know what is going to come out from this stone, you missed it. So it's like my teacher always used to say to me, she would just say, open, 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 open. Whatever you thought this was going to be, it's not. So just open.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
You'd mentioned before some of the miraculous things you've seen, or any stories you want to bring forward now, just to give a sense of what's possible.
In I will say it in such a brief way. I think my students have heard me tell this story, but there was a woman I saw her so many times and the level of deep trauma that came from her family when she was a little girl. It's like it was informing everything in all of her relationships. And you got to get deep to get that stuff. And stones go deep and grids go deep. And then just wait for the miracle. Ask. You got to realize that you're not the doer. And I watched a wave with amethyst on her. I watched a wave go from the top of her head to the bottom of her toes. She was crying the whole time, and that amethyst was able to pull or anchor that intangible frequency, whatever it was, and that cleared her, bones, cells, DNA of those traumas in a way where it just left her weeping. I mean, I think we were both crying, and she was never the same again.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So do you
Yeah.
find that so in this partnership dynamic, so you're, making an offering to the stones after, do you find that then over time the stones actually get better at what they're doing because they're sort of you've put them to work more often in these contexts or
I think so. I think partnership, relationship that is chi, that is life force. And so when we work together, we get stronger treatments, like we all get stronger.
makes a lot of sense. Well,
Mhm.
this is really cool. And so, any other things that you want to say about the specific remedies that this is good for, or there are specific challenges people might have that you want to particularly bring in an amethyst grid?
Sure. So think about you want to think about just there's no limitation. So it can be your home, your office, your treatment table, yourself, your child's bed, anything that you want to bring purification energy to. It can be big scale, it can be small scale, like that crystal grid on a piece of paper. Um, Remember that when amethyst is purple, so that's a mix of red and blue. That's a mix of fire and water. So that's a mix of yang and yin. And when we bring together opposites, you get really powerful alchemy. So if you bring together opposites like fire and water, you get really powerful alchemy. So there's going to be change. So you want to think of amethyst when you're like, I just need to change. This needs to change from one thing into another. This needs to be highly alchemical. So when you need something, it's like bringing a fire into the room. It's highly alchemical. So think of it for that in all those applications. And then go into it and have fun because if you're having fun with it and playing with it, you'll actually get the best results.
Makes total sense. Well, Sarah, you're just a wealth of really fascinating insights, and I think it just opens a whole new world for all of us. So people kind of intuit with working with crystals a bit, but it's clear you have a depth of understanding and practice and lineage here that's really quite mind expanding. So I'm excited for people to be able to study more deeply with you, and I want to take some time now to talk more explicitly about your upcoming program, which we're super excited about. This will be a 19-module program with 7 live Q and A's. This course with Sarah will combine the 7 introductory modules from her introductory course with the 12 advanced modules from her advanced course. It's all about practical applications for everyday use with grids, elixirs, and other sacred techniques. And so I'd love for you to share a bit about this, share some of your intentions for what people will come away with for this Taoist Doorways into Deeper Stone and Crystal Medicine.
Yeah, so people fall in love with stones and they get an intuition or just a hit that they want to hold this stone and they love this stone. But the next part about knowing exactly what to do with it is the part that I love to fill in and I love to evolve with people because a lot of times they'll just stick it in their shoe or they'll stick it in their bra or they'll put it on their nightstand and they don't exactly know how to go further. So when I thought of this 12-week program, I said, I want to focus on applications. I want to like go deep into the coolest applications where in every single class you're learning a different application, like specifically learning something like the amethyst purification grids and how to use them so that you're coming away with notes, exact step-by-step ideas on here's what I'm actually going to do with this. And it changes everything. Actually, it's the balm that we need in all of stone medicine is for us to be able to venture out and how do I apply it in ways that are both intuitive but also based in, ancient techniques.
So module 1 is called Explore the Ancient Origins of Stone Medicine and Harness the Ultimate Power of Quartz.
By the end of the class, you will know the story of ancient stone medicine, and it is cool. By the end of the class, you will be doing a treatment with quartz on yourself that is something that you can use forever. It's something you can use on yourself or with others forever. It's such a foundational treatment.
Module 2, return to the source of all things with hematite to activate the woo in your own heart.
A woo is somebody who travels multidimensionally. So this is where we tap into that, and you're going to see how hematite is a stone that is at the source of all things.
Module 3, awaken self-love with mica and the ritual creation of healing stone elixirs.
And in this class, we're going to learn to make a proper stone medicine elixir. So we're going to branch into this vibrational application of making elixirs that is quite like Bach flower essences.
Module 4, shadow work, protections, and the unparalleled power of obsidian for cleansing and transformation.
Yes. So mica gives us a light mirror, and obsidian gives us a dark mirror. And this allows us to take a walk through the shadow world and the underworld with protection and with power. So we're actually going to talk about ghosts, entities, attachments, and some of the spiritual origins of disease. And by the end of this class, you'll be doing a powerful clearing on yourself, transmutation of dense energy with obsidian that you can use forever as well.
On January 15th, 2026, you will have the opportunity to engage in the first of 7 live Q&A sessions. This is your chance to dialogue directly with Sarah and ask questions and participate in group discussion and integration. Module 5 is called Create Emotional Freedom and Harness the Healing Power of Color with Fluorite.
In Module 5, you will learn an entire modality of color for emotional change. So this is when we work with the color of stones to relate to anxiety, grief, repressed emotions, suppressed emotions, fear. And color is so powerful. When people pick up stones, they're getting attracted to the stone vibrationally. They don't pick it up by accident. And color is a huge part of that.
Module 6, light the cauldron of transformation and alchemy with pyrite to create lasting change where you need it.
In this class, we're going to talk about how to create alchemy in the body with specific grids with pyrite to create change and transformation.
On January 22nd, join Sarah live for the second Q&A. Module 7, initiate a flash of your illumination of destiny with labradorite to remember your sacred purpose.
Labradorite is a stone that is known to create a flash in the kidneys where our destiny is stored. So we're going to culminate everything with this flash of illumination and remembering our unique essence and why we're here. But we're also going to build a dreaming grid in that class.
On January 29th, join Sarah live for the third Q&A session. So module 8 is called Align Your Intentions with the Ancient Knowledge and Powers of Stone and Crystal Jewelry for Healing and Transformation.
The big one, Stephen, it's like the biggest application of stone and crystal medicine because people relate to jewelry, but what if we didn't just have, oh, you can get a necklace or you can get a ring, but we knew how to wear those, where to wear those, how to activate the jewelry, how to do specific things like build your immunity with stone and crystal jewelry. So that's going to be all about that.
Module 9, clear and empower your energy with obsidian and other transmutational stones.
Yeah, this is our shamanic hygiene module. So we're managing our energy, the energy that we pick up, the energy that we give off. And obsidian is another stone that really helps us manage our energy and transmute energy and cleanse, and clear. So we're going to be doing different practices with the obsidian to actually work with shamanic hygiene, really.
February 5th will be the fourth live Q&A session. Module 10, develop key skills in creating vibrational stone elixirs with clinical pearls for better formulas and simple apothecary creation.
Okay, elixirs is a giant in stone medicine. Elixirs is a giant, but there's just so much more to learn about it. Think about finding a stone out in the Southwest or something on a trip. What do you do? Why did you find that stone? Why do you love that stone? Well, the next step is to make an elixir with it and open those records inside of you. And that's really exciting. So that's just going to be another huge week.
Module 11, stone medicine for addressing the unique needs of kids, animal companions, and other sensitive beings.
This is the most requested class I have ever had in my life. Stones and pets and stones and kids. So we're going to talk about really forgiving stones, adaptable formulas, really safe things to really help our kids and pets and sensitive beings who are really in touch with other worlds quite a bit.
Module 12, break obstructions and free the energy within your sacred spaces with stones and feng shui.
Oh, yes. Feng Shui. We're going to talk about the basics of Feng Shui and not some silly thing off the internet, like some real Taoist root Feng Shui medicine in its basics. So, how to move energy through the home. And stones are absolutely crucial for this. They're crucial. Stones are the key tool in Feng Shui in the home. So, we'll be giving the foundations in that week.
Module 13, discover how power crystals in the Bagua map and the 9 palaces can help you identify your life lessons and evolve.
So this is another specific way to actually heal yourself, change yourself, and transform yourself by placing crystals in the home in specific places that have been anciently used to really shift you, at a soul level because you have a certain stone in a certain place.
February 19th, the next live Q&A. Module 14, build advanced tabletop crystal grids for distance healings, whole space purification, and more.
Yeah, so think about what we can build with a crystal grid on a table. There's tools for that. There's ideas for that. There's simple basics for that. Like for instance, if you want to send healing to somebody that you love and you're like, I need to do something, I want to do something. Well, how do you set up a grid that can just be a place where you can send those prayers in or those intentions in, and then it's like a crock pot because you can set it and forget it, and then those crystals continue to emanate that healing. So much to talk about crystal grids. Yeah.
Module 15, build advanced tabletop crystal grids for manifesting your wishes, needs, and desires.
This is another largely requested class that I've never really totally gone into. So I'm excited for this week to let's just focus on manifestation. Are there certain colors, numbers, shapes, patterns, crystals that we need to put into this grid to manifest that exact number, that exact thing that we're looking for? Like, what is the process of doing that? It's just another great, powerful use of crystals to make the intangible tangible.
February 26th, join Sarah for the 6th live Q&A. Module 16, clear, balance, and reset your mind, body, and spirit with an ancient and simple 4-point crystal healing protocol.
Yes. So we're getting into some healing protocols. So even if you're not a healer, you will be able to do these really simple healing protocols, but they're actually so ancient, so practical, can be used in so many different ways. So I'm going to reveal some of the secrets of one of my favorite on the body healing protocols and what stones to use with it.
Module 17, create power, boundaries, strength, and safety with an ancient and simple 4-point crystal healing protocol.
We're going to do another one. So I'm not even revealing what they are yet. I'm just going to tell you they're simple, they're awesome. I use them all the time. They're profound. You're going to love learning them.
Module 18, intuitive and alchemical stone and crystal grid building for crystal healing and other beneficial energy grids.
Yeah, so now in this one, we're moving away from tabletop grids and we're starting to think about how do we build a grid in a room or build a grid in a yard. And we're going to focus on working with, if you have a yard or a property or something, you want to be able to build certain grids like protection grids, for instance. So we're going to be talking about like a little bit of larger scale grids in that week.
And finally, Module 19, connect with your environment, greater landforms, and earth-wide grids for healing and awakening.
Yeah, like what if you have this place in nature that is an actual power spot or a mountain and you want to make a place at your home that may be able to connect with that or just share energy with that or send energy to something or connect to one of your closer lakes. And so stones are key, critical in connecting with these nature beings. So I feel like that's like the most advanced class, and we're going to end with it.
And at the very end, March 12th, we'll have our final Q&A session with Sarah, where you'll get the final opportunity to ask any questions you've had throughout the course. Well, what a fascinating and eye-opening and super practical exploration of these really leading edge subjects that are also based in the deepest roots of history. So again, the whole program is laid out in more detail than we just shared at crystalstonemedicine.com, crystalstonemedicine.com. As we said, it's a 19-module program with 7 live Q&As. The course will take place over 10 weeks, most of which will have 2 modules per week. I also want to draw attention to a few other bonuses that are really Sarah's designed to help enhance your journey. There's a holographic drawing for self-healing and distance healing. It's a high-resolution download and PDF guide. Want to share more about that, Sarah?
Yeah, that is a simple PDF that you can use to send healing at a distance that is to scale. It's like a perfect little map. So when you're getting into some of that radionics work, you have that to use.
There's a video teaching from Sarah called How to Build a Taoist Magic Circle. That sounds intriguing. Share a little bit more about the Taoist Magic Circle.
Yeah, sure. It's a really easy to build actual portal that you can build inside or outside, and it is going to be your connection place with the earth. And it's actually a fifth dimensional technology. And when we start to interface with the earth, we can do really special things inside that circle, including cleansing and recharging all of our stones.
Very cool. And I think that people are going to be very excited about this next bonus, which is a long-term discount at the Clarity Crystal Shop. This is something that Sarah's created and really gives you access to high quality crystals to be using in the healing work. And so this is a special coupon code. And share a little bit about what you've done with the Clarity Crystal Shop and why that can be such a valuable extra bonus.
Yeah, so we created a crystal shop, my core little team, because we were teaching so much and I was teaching and people would always come up, where do I get that stone? Where do I get that stone? It's like after class, I might have like 5 of them, but I didn't have like 25 of them or 500 of them and teaching at conferences and things. And so I would always go to gem shows. I always have gone to gem shows. So I just started buying more crystals when I would go. And we did it out of the garage and now we actually have a shop and we serve our students. So our collections in the crystal shop are for our students. And I handpick everything. So I make sure that everything is clear of treatments, dyes, irradiation. It's a completely natural crystal shop, which is hard to find. And then I also make sure everything is of proper levels of chi and really high quality stone, which has taken me many years to really understand and discern that. So when you go there, you know you're working with something safe and powerful. And it's for students.
That's amazing. Well, it's amazing you put that level of care and attention into really cultivating that whole crystal shop. So amazing. As if that's not enough, we actually have one more bonus, which is your bonus for signing up right away. We always like to do this as a way to encourage you to really tune in now while you have the most information and come to clarity around your own decision about moving forward. And if you do so, move forward today, you're going to get an extra bonus for doing so. This is a 30-minute video teaching by Sarah called Merging Sound and Stones for Intuitive Healing Diagnostics. I'll share a little bit more about the teachings there.
Yeah. So I don't teach about stones and sound a lot, but I do use this one sound technique that has blown me away, which is actually rattling with stones. And it is so simple. It is diagnostic in a way that will blow you away. It is incredible for people who are intuitive and can feel energy coming back when they offer vibration.
Hmm.
And it's incredible for people just learning too, because you get, even for someone who doesn't consider themselves intuitive, they'll be like, wow, I just heard that. I got that message. So it's pretty phenomenal.
What a great extra reason to sign up right away to get the Merging Sound and Stones for Intuitive Healing Diagnostics. Well, it's clearly going to be such a deep and profound adventure into the frontiers of this work, and really so much opportunity for healing and application with clients or family or friends as well. So we've kept the investment for the program very accessible given the depth and the value. It's three payments of $292 or save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $797. The course is going to begin on January 8th and runs Thursdays at noon Pacific time, 3 Eastern. The 19 course modules are pre-recorded, so you'll be able to review at a time and pace the best suits your schedule. The 7 live Q&As take place on Thursdays at noon throughout the 10 weeks, and even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the Q&A recordings. I love some of the testimonials on the page, which you can also find at crystalstonemedicine.com. They're just really give you an insight into the depth at which Sarah teaches. The way that Sarah teaches has reached me at a soul level, genuine, advanced, and amazing. I feel I've been searching for Sarah and these teachings since I began the journey 30 years ago. The course was absolutely life-changing for me. I've been practicing, studying, and teaching Chinese medicine, working with stones for nearly 30 years, including living in China and getting a PhD there. And yet I feel I've been searching for you in these teachings since I began the journey. You've changed the way I practice. You've changed my life profoundly. I love that one. That one says so much. So clearly, there's just a depth of wisdom and expertise that is really rare to find. And I think Sarah's just used a beautiful way of delivering it. So again, it's all at crystalstonemedicine.com, crystalstonemedicine.com, and you're going to get that special bonus if you sign up by midnight tonight, which is the Merging Sound and Stones for Intuitive Healing Diagnostics. So, Sarah, we've actually covered a lot of ground in less than an hour now. Anything that's still on your heart that you haven't shared with people who are considering joining you for the program?
Well, I would just like to say, if you're the kind of person that loves to come away with a notebook of treasured protocols, like a notebook that you return to, where you're like, I can go back and look at that treatment, I can go back and do that, I'm going to do that. That is what I designed this class for, so that you have this precious notebook of all these things that you can actually do step by step. And then when you go out and actually do them, that's when the magic happens. When knowledge turns into experience, that's when you change. So applications are more important than knowledge. They're profound. And when you're out there actually doing it, the practical becomes the powerful. It just becomes, that's when you change. It's transformational. So
Hmm.
if you're a person that likes a notebook, you're going to get a good one here.
I love that. I love that how practical to really just be scribbling away and taking it and applying it. So again, the whole URL for all the more details than we have been able to cover here is at crystalstonemedicine.com, crystalstonemedicine.com, and you will get that special bonus around stones and sound when you sign up by midnight tonight. And that was Merging Sound and Stones for Intuitive Healing Diagnostics. And again, the name of the program is Taoist Doorways into Deeper Stone and Crystal Medicine. Practical applications for everyday use with grids, elixirs, and other sacred techniques. So, Sarah, wow, you transmit a lot in less than an hour. Thank you for the depth of your study and practice that's brought you to this moment to be able to really open up these horizons for us. So thank you for today, and thank you for the upcoming program.
Thank you for listening and being the open vessel that my courts could pour all this information into your courts. Thank
Love it. All right. Thank you. Many blessings.
you. You too.